YouTube, what's going on? YouTube, what is going on? What is happening, man? Of course, it's your guy, one more time, there's your Alex Jr., and I'm back with another fragrance video, all right? So, often I'm asked, hey, what are some good conversation starter fragrances? And the only reason that I get asked that is because I mention it. For people who know me on a day-to-day basis, whether I'm at work, family members, friends, I always get that because at some point in time when I'm explaining like, hey, why am I, into fragrances and stuff like that, and what am I into, fragrances or whatever like that, that's something that I normally would say, hey, I'm looking for something that could potentially start a conversation. All right, so with that being said, I thought it'd be a great video idea to talk about seven great, in my opinion, great conversation starters that I've had experience with them starting conversations. All right, so Smell Good family, hopefully everyone is doing well, doing fantastic, doing great, positive energy and positive vibes. You know how we give it up here on this channel. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it. We have 7 fragrances that all of these have created some type of conversation, and let's go ahead and dive into it. Up first, from the house of John Varvatos, one that doesn't get talked about at all anymore, but I love this stuff. From the house of John Varvatos, we have the original John Varvatos. John Varvatos. This is a classic men's fragrance. Very classy, masculine, sophisticated. This is not for everyone. Someone's gonna smell this, go like, ooh, you smell like an old man. Ooh, you smell like my grandpa. It's wild. This is well put together. This is what I like to call a designer niche. And it's a compliment to a designer house being able to put out a product like this that can start a conversation. And I do get that. I like to wear this one to the office. Sometimes in the summer, it's kind of close call, but mostly in the spring and in the fall. This is where I really wear this one. And there's a few set of gentlemen who are a little older. They've picked this up and we've had conversations. I've been told, hey, that kind of smells like one of those old school fragrances. That's a boss fragrance. That's a man who knows what's got going on fragrance. So with this one, you got some fruitiness. You got a touch of leather, have a touch of green. It's a lot going on. It gives off like a fougere type of vibe, all right? And I really do enjoy it. This is a great conversation starter. If someone smelled this who maybe on the mature side of things, they're not looking too much to have a good time, but they are looking for some sophistication, and this can provide that. So from the house of John Varvatos, we have John Varvatos, the original. In my experience, I've had a great time talking about this one from time to time. Good stuff. You can find it on discounts for a really good price. Very classy scent. All right. Up next, from the house of Parfums de Marly. Man, this is a very interesting fragrance. From the moment I smelled it to the moment I got a bottle to today talking to y'all, we have Habdan. My experiences with this one from the first time I smelled it created a major conversation. Shout out to my brother Cedric Farr. Ooh, the cap is on that one. From Frag Boys ENT. He was the first person that I smelled this. He had a bottle, I smelled it, then I went out to my local Nordstrom's and I smelled it as well. But Pierre, I believe that was his name. Pierre works at my local Nordstrom's, and we talked about this fragrance, man. And he was like, a lot of people kind of scoff at Habdan, move on from Habdan. And that rose and oud and apple type of vibe, a little saffron touch that I get to my nose. This stuff is good. Some fresh spiciness going along with the fruitiness and the oud touch. It's just not a oud that's not gonna choke you out and make you look crazy, but this is really good. And I wore this to, out of all places, a tailgate party down here in my city in Jacksonville, the Jaguars versus the Chargers in the playoffs. And when I got there, started setting up, one of the gentlemen who I knew there, he picked it up. My sillage was going, and he was like, bro, what is that? Like, what, like, I know you're into fragrances, but I've never smelled nothing like that. Like, what is that, bro? So I explained to him about Parfums de Marly and just carried on a really good conversation about Habdan for sure. So this is a great conversation starter, a DNA that is definitely can provoke some curiosity. From the house of Parfums de Marly, once again, we have Habdan. All right, moving along to the house of Nishane. This one is amazing. We have Fan Your Flames. Now, I remember the first time that I got this and I smelled it, I was blown away. This is my favorite from the house. And I wore it the very next day to work. I caught this at the end of winter. And when I wore this upon my arrival to work, there was a truck driver. Truck drivers come in and out where I work. And as I walked by him, he said, young man, hey, young man, I'm into the smell goods. That's how he said it. That's how I say it. What are you wearing, man? What is that? And I said Nishane, and he was like, what? Fan your flames, what? Again? And he asked me to tell him about Nishane and this fragrance. And I did in a short amount of time. He was very interested, pulled out a cell phone. I shot him for Grantica, and I also shot him to a discounter where I got it from. I didn't send him to Nishane.com. I didn't even explain the discounter thing to him. But I let him know about it. He said this is something that he would like to wear when he's out of the truck and he's kind of living his life and doing his thing. Because I believe he said he was from South Carolina or something like that, and it's one of the Carolinas. And he said it gets kind of cold there, and this would be something good because I explained to him it's really good for the cooler weather. So Nishane Fan Your Flames, great conversation starter. This stuff is awesome. It is awesome. That rum and that coconut, man, that boozy, that spicy, it's just great. All right, up next from the house of Guerlain, this is fastly approaching being my favorite, and I mean favorite from the house. It may be replacing my slightly current favorite now. Guerlain's L'Homme Idéal, Elle Intense. Elle Intense. This is moving, well, has moved past the extreme, the extreme version, and it is challenging, really challenging the EDP, which I love. This is a different take, very spicier, flanker here, the cherry and the leather and the spiciness from the chili note is great. And I remember a story that my best friend wore this. Him and his wife was going out, and he let me know about the compliments that he got from his wife and his mother-in-law and just people around, and he let me know about it. Said, bro, like whatever this is, it is provoking conversation right now. What is it? I had to explain it to his mother-in-law and his wife and just people who wanted to know in general. This is a conversation starter. The spices hit different here. It really doesn't get talked about a lot. I know Justin Copeland waves the flag for this as his favorite from the line. And as my nose matures and my experiences, go on in the fragrance, my fragrance journey, I understand why. And I got a feeling by the time we get back to the cooler months, this could be my favorite as well. From the house of Guerlain, we have L'Homme Idéal, Elle Intense. Awesome stuff here, man. All right, up next from the house of Hermes, we have H24. This is one of the most polarizing fragrances for sure. This is another niche designer, as I call it. A floral green, just beautiful DNA that this was built on, and it is awesome, man. Every time I wear this, some of the older gentlemen at the job, they pick this up as well, just like the John Varvatos. And I've had conversation about this. Now, I've only had this for about 2 months now, but when I've worn it, because I've worn this about 4 or 5 times to the office, and it generates a conversation normally with the fellas, and the older gentlemen want to kind of know what's going on here because they say I smell different. You smell different. You smell different, you know? So this is something that's very interesting and very unique, and it definitely, if someone likes it or not, they might be compelled to ask you about it. And if you want something that maybe, possibly could generate a conversation, listen, this is one to look into. It is not for everybody. It's not for the weak at heart. It is not, but I personally love it. From the house of Hermes, we have H24. Good stuff, great stuff here, all right? Up next from the house of Moschino, however you want to pronounce it, we have another polarizer. We have Toy Boy. If you like rolls and spicy rolls, this is for you. Now, this is a fragrance that I personally know that a few people like. But in my experience, women love this fragrance. And I know it's that fresh floral pop with that spiciness that is accompanying the rose. I know that's what it is. And I've always, every time I wear it, some type of conversation with a woman, especially where I work, when I wear this fragrance. And while I work, man, I have to wear a button up, some slacks, some dress shoes on a normal occasion in and out of an office setting. So something like this during the fall, during the day, if it's a little cool out, or springtime, if it's not as hot just of yet, this stuff works. You can wear this in the winter as well, because that freshness from that rose, but the spicy elements that are with this, there's a little fruitiness with the pear note as well. It just has caused conversation. And when I tell them it's rose in it, they go, really, rose? You don't hear about a lot of men wearing rose. Well, this man does. I'm a huge fan of rose, and it definitely starts conversations. I've had one young lady who I half decanted this because she wanted to try it out for herself. And she tried it out and she loved it. And I always talk to her about how fragrances are subjective. Male, female, whatever. And this made her a believer. So I think she's acquired like Ultra Mole and one of the fragrance. I think it's Bleu de Chanel. But I know one for sure is Ultra Mole. So fragrances can be very subjective. And this kind of helped the young lady. She's into fragrances, but this has kind of helped her open her mind up to that. So this did a good deed for sure. From the house of Moschino, however you want to say it, we got Toy Boy. I'm a big fan. And last but not least, the cheapest fragrance in today's video, but this one I've had a few conversations about. From the house of Roberto Cavalli, we have Uomo. I am not the biggest fan of Violet Leaf at all. But the violet in here, drenched in that sweet, sexy, seductive honey, it's crazy, bro. This has some spices added to it, but the honey and the violet are the main players in this fragrance. Listen to me. This is another niche designer type of feel to me. Now, when I say niche designer, this is like the ultimate compliment that I can give a designer fragrance, and not I'm not trying to label it, as it being worth more than what it is. No, this is just my experience. But when I've worn this about a handful of times during the fall, during the day, during the fall to the job, and I always get the same comment from a few different people, and it is this: oh, you smelling good today. good today. And it is by women. I had one gentleman want to know about this, and he asked for the link. And like I said, florals in men is kind of iffy. I'm a believer in you wear the fragrance, don't let the fragrance wear you. And this is one where that happens, where I wear this fragrance. It comes off very sexy, alluring. It's a little bit mysterious, some mystery to it as well. And for what you pay for, I paid $30 for this. I don't know how much it is now, but I paid $30 for this. But when I got it, I was kind of on the fence. But I've had it over a year now, and I've worn it a handful of times, and I always get a positive reaction and a conversation with this fragrance. And this stuff is literally good. I like it a lot. Great conversation starter. From the house of Roberto Cavalli, we have Uomo. All right, so those are seven fragrances that have provoked a conversation, or I have had conversations about, or know someone who's had conversations about, and all of the DNAs are unique enough, maybe outside of the fratcom community. I'm talking to the person in the everyday world. If they smell this, it may provoke a conversation. All right, so let me know down below in the comments, Smell Good family, what fragrances do you have, or experiences that you have by conversation starters by certain fragrances. Let me know. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on it. All right, on the road to 7,000 subscribers. We will be there soon. I appreciate all the love and support. It really means so much to me. If you'd like to be the next member of the Smell Good family, just like the video, subscribe to the channel, meet me down in the comments, and we can talk about what you love and what I love as the beautiful art of fragrance. Splag it up, splag it down, splag it that thing all around. All right, y'all be cool, be easy. What you put out into this world is what you're gonna get back. The shirt, raw 9, Heartbreak Kid, Big Daddy Cool Diesel, what you know about it?